CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
The Exodans have got the drop on us one too many times. We're going to crack their orbital comms array.
So we're not supposed to just go in and murder everyone, but we are supposed to go in and cause a ruckus.
Hi, meet me at the Praxium Plaza parking lot if you want an ass kicking.
You really that stupid?
It depends who you ask. Who's this?
Seems a little suspicious that they would just tell us, yeah, go ahead, go through, it's fine.
Fighting two mechs in a confined space on foot is rough.
I'd like to briefly cut back to Michael, because Michael, to clarify how this works for you, you land, you get shot at, you tell your crew, hey, the plan's working, the escape signal's up, and then suddenly two huge bone and muscle beings burst out of the ground, and you see a shot from long reach go completely wide up into the air.
Well, it was a bit unfortunate about the tower taking some fire, but you know, these things happen. I'm sure it can go for a bit more. I think we see these two large bio creatures come up. I think there's been a little bit of like back and forth, perhaps, or getting ready to do so with Slipaway Bolt. It's just like, Bolt, quick question: are they with you?
With me? No, but I know your type. I know that really you wanted some alone time, right? So I might have let a few things slip.
Ah. It's like that, is it? Well, watch this. And, now I think I'll use my spark. I would like to make a maneuver roll, if possible, if that's okay.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to make a maneuver roll. I'm going to try and intimidate Slipaway Bolt. I'm going to try and attack their morale by doing an incredibly tight series of turns around Slipaway where they are, around all of these large creatures as well, around the construction site, doing that thing I'd mentioned before, just as quickly as possible, just an incredibly fast speed, and ideally attacking Slipaway Bolt's clock in the sense of their morale, and also spending my spark from Art by Another Name to cause a temporary ceasefire, because that seems useful. And I'm trying to bring the transformed into it as well by going through their legs and around them, distracting them, that kind of stuff, right? I'm trying to awe them by the deftness of my craft.
All right. Yeah, I think that definitely works.
Oh, I also realised I suffered a consequence from Slipaway Bolt before, so I add something to my connection clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gone, I can make Slipaway dance to my tune.
All right, we'll see how that goes for you.
Beliefs can be wrong.
All right, maneuver, desperate. I think this can be desperate standard.
Okay. I do have scraped, which will lower my effect potentially. Mm-hmm. Is that appropriate here?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, some of his drunks probably aren't quite at 100%, so yeah, desperate limited then.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to intimidate, so could I spend my intimidating quirks blade as I'm like going around some way bolt, like, you know, not actually attacking?
Yeah.
What's the collateral situation as well?
Actually, this is one that came up that we used last time, but it didn't really come up, so I'm tempted to recycle it, which is for you to take some harm related to, like, pushing your machine to these limits. I think we used G-Force last time.
Oh, so that's harm on Michael himself, right?
Yeah, pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll take that. And so that's 1 push, 1 collateral. And I'm also going to spend a piece of load that I have, my my boosted reactor. It's a 1-use tuner special gear. Spend for improved effect when speed or agility is required. I think that's...
So you're up to standard now?
So that's up to standard, and I've got 2 dots to spend, one of which I'll spend on going up to great, and then the other I'll go for an extra dice, because we ain't been rolling that hot, to be honest with you folks. So I want to get a little bit of the old redundancy on there.
All right, okay.
I've got 3 dice in maneuver normally, with 1 extra one. That's 4. So hopefully this will work. Okay, so that's a 3, a 1, a 2, and a 2.
No.
That is what you might call statistically unlikely.
We are not getting out of this one alive, gamers.
Oh my god.
And I am also spending my spark to do the temporary ceasefire, so hopefully that will happen anyway. But I've got to be honest with you, folks, wasn't expecting that one.
That's really bad.
Incredible. Yeah. What does this look like?
Do I just get swiped out of the air by one of these large creatures?
That's certainly tempting, but you make your maneuver and it's going flawlessly. Like, you perfectly maneuver around all of these different obstacles and enemies. It looks beautiful, but that also means that you sort of like quickly cross over into the like ruined streets part of the map. And that means that you go past those 2 RVs that Slippery Bolt had escorting them, the coyotes. A recurring theme, really, from how this mission started. I think it doesn't occur to you until it's too late. If people know that you're going to maneuver round threats, then they can use that to figure out where you're going. And I think you turn a corner and we see one of the bladed, like, wing arms of the Hope of Calazar catch on one of the arms of the Vector Mantis. Like, we see the blades spark off each other and then, like, lock and, like, awkwardly pull you back. And you are once again face to face with Slipaway Bolt. They chuckle and say, I think at this point it's pretty clear that I know you a fair bit better than you know me.
Yeah? What makes you say that, Slipaway?
I'm just saying there's no point in being fast if you get red all this hard all the same.
Michael is very off-put by this. It's all, he's trying not to show it, but it's like, he thought he had this on lockdown, but like, no. Yeah, well, anyone can get lucky once.
I've seen your type 12 times, and they all say that, and they all do the same thing. Let me see how good I am at reading you, Let me see if I figured out just how fast your mind is. You think this is a test of skill. You think this is all about the numbers. You're up late at night in a hangar thinking about the torque, the overclocking of your reactor against the overclocking of my reactor. You think it's all about the numbers. You've just been dying to get out here and best me. Every fresh out of school pilot I've seen has been just like you.
Michael doesn't say anything. He's very quiet.
And you have the temerity to think that I'm the same. It didn't even occur to you that I could be anything else, did it? You sickened me.
As Slipaway's saying this stuff, we get shots from the engineering bay. Everything they've said there is dead on correct.
Yeah, I would like you to take some... I don't think this should quite be level 3 emotional harm. That feels a bit excessive. I'm going to say take some level 2 harm that reflects how Michael feels about this, and take the level 1 damage sprained for how they caught your arm blade with theirs. So you can resist those separately.
Yeah. So the level 1 damage, that stacks with the existing scraped, doesn't it? So that would be 2 less effects.
Good question.
If they're both applicable to a circumstance,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah, if they're both applicable, but the other major threat is that means that, like, any further level 1 harm damage has to be level 2.
I also believe that you can junk any bit of equipment as long as it's at least 1 load to act as armor. Is that also correct?
I believe so.
I would like to, in that case, I think it's appropriate if we get a scene for Grandma on this, like the boosted reactor. It's caught and smashed. Yeah, if I can junk my boosted reactor, it has 1 use. I've used that use, but it does still have a load. If that's feasible, I would like to junk that.
Yeah, I think you can do that. Yeah.
It starts sputtering, tries to get away, and it's caught by maybe like a slash with the blade, takes it out. We just see the smoke coming out of it. We get a cut scene to, Michael spending so much time getting it to work, and now there's a smoke pouring out the back of it. Or maybe it hasn't even been cut. It's just been held in place and overheated. That seems like a good read for Slipaway Bolt, who's definitely got a very good read on Michael. I think the level 2 harm he takes is just like red, He's been bragging so much, and he's just been caught out here. Like, dang.
You could have teched that, Michael. Anyway, yeah. What is true, however, is you did still spend your spark.
Yes. So I'm guessing this happened right at the end, so I've got a chance to have, or everyone's just like, instead of it being everyone's so impressed by Michael, everyone's just like,
yeah.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, a combination of like, oh, wow, that's rough, and also just, up until then, you were being pretty confusing. I would say part of the temporary ceasefire is the version 0.9s are definitely still just like, trying to track your movement, like, thinking that you're setting up for some ambush on them, just trying to figure out, hey, where the hell did that thing go? Meanwhile, back in the overpass, or what's left of it, Julius, you said you had a plan.
Yeah. I want to roll command and have everybody shoot the fucking monsters.
Oh, fuck! Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of us. We all have guns. Specifically, I'd like to command Board Squadron.
Do you want to try to get the Hive in on this as well?
Oh, that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Maybe narratively, right?
You don't have it, do you? But there is
like that
hero move. It's like, get a bunch of unaffiliated people to obey you.
What I do have is Heart of Gold, Fists of Steel. You may spend your spark to assist a teammate or push yourself when inciting fervor.
Oh my god. Okay.
I was going to say, you've got a little bit of time to set it up as well, just because it's a temporary ceasefire. Probably not a long one, but you've got a little bit of time to sort.
Quick, incite intense and passionate feeling, according to Oxford Languages.
Intense and passionate feeling of shoot bullets at monster.
Intense and passionate feeling of what the fuck is that? Get it away from me.
Yeah, exactly. I think that obviously there's been a certain amount of rubble fallen down from the the monsters exploding out of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So he is standing on the rubble.
Can you give us a bit of a sense of like what you say? Because I think we also need to point out, this is the turncoat Julius Thermidor trying to command a bunch of Jovangan civilians.
I was getting there. I mean, I'm primarily commanding Board Squadron, right?
Yeah,
what am I rolling here? Am I rolling to get the Hive on my side, or am I rolling to see how effective it is to get the boys to just shoot these monsters? Because it seems like there's 2 things that are happening here, and are we rolling them into one action?
I think that we roll them into one, and what I would say is, if you were just commanding Board Squadron, I would say, yeah, sure, you're in a rough situation, but they're trained, and they're on your side, it's risky. Trying to get the Hive in on it makes it desperate still.
Okay, what's the effect?
Let me think, because you have elite toughs, right? So they're +1 quality.
Yep.
There's a lot of you. I would say that you've got enough to like seriously focus fire these guys. I would say you might be at your standard effect.
All right. So what this looks like is I'm on top of the thing, and I look at Mar and I say, "Hey, they with you? They with you?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Okay. You gonna have a problem if we kill them?
Oh, you mean them? Fuck, no, they must be plants.
Okay, you get all your people, guns out. We've got maybe 30 seconds before whatever Flyboy up there is doing before they start paying attention to us again.
Shit. Yeah, okay. And she just starts frantically running, trying to, rouse people. If you're delegating, we'll see how well what she does goes after your roll.
I mean, I'm not so much delegating as I'm just ensuring that it's going to happen. I'm just going to shout loudly enough that they are all going to hear me, and hope that, Marn is just sort of saying, yeah, no, pay attention to him.
All right, yeah. Go ahead. What do you shout?
All right, guns out, fire on my signal, and then I count down from 3.
Wow, straight to the point. Okay, yeah.
Julius Thurber doesn't fuck around.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, commands, desperate standard.
Okay, so I'm pushing myself here. Does anyone want to help?
I kind of have my own thing I want to do while you're doing this, so...
Okay. I don't want to blow another roll here, you know?
I can help if you want.
I mean, how's your stress?
It's not gotten better.
Is there a way I could... I guess I'm kind of out of this. I can't have helped.
I'm happy to push myself. I entered a mission with 6 stress. I think it's interesting. I also think it lines up with True's priorities, so...
How many beliefs do you have about me?
2.
Ooh. Okay.
Julius needs to realize he can't carry all the weight himself.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. So, to be clear, do you trauma out if you push yourself for this?
No.
Not? Okay.
I'll still have one notch of stress left.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Which I think is True, just ears ringing, like she's kind of still very much overwhelmed, but does, literally back Julius up, and maybe that's where we don't get the Mad Max scene, but it is the pointing in the same direction and firing wildly.
Yeah. So, and with 2 beliefs, that means you can give 2 benefits. So you've another dice and we're at desperate great, I assume. Is that right?
How do you want to use the shenanigans?
Well, I'm pushing myself, so we're getting 3 total add-ons to Desperate Great, so I think I'm taking 4 dice.
Oh my
Desperate
god.
Great.
Okay. Well, we've seen how that can go, so let's not count our chickens.
No way. No fucking way. We're gonna die. Yo, we're dead.
On,
we're fucking dead. Sorry. That is a 1, 2, 1, 1.
Fuck! We're gonna die.
Oh, you're dead.
How fast do you think Ben Floater can do an entire new squad after this one dies extremely badly?
Oh boy. Am I getting impaled?
I was trying to set it like a difficult choice for you, but yeah, maybe you do just get extremely fucked up.
You are leading the group or whatever.
Yeah.
You start shouting, you start commanding, you begin to speak, you start the countdown, you see guns being raised, and you get partly through the countdown, and then there's a bang, and it's pretty simple. I need you to take the level 3 harm shot.
Oh yeah? One of the Hive guys, huh?
Morn turns around and says, What the hell, Davis? And one of the guys just says, You got us into that fucking mess. Do you not know who that is? I had a cousin in that fight.
Oh no.
You think I'm just gonna let him sit there and give us orders?
Oh.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. What do you think we're fighting for?
Can I just say, I feel like the response from Board Squadron would be to immediately start shooting at the Hive, if that's what
I was going to say, that's going to end badly.
This is a catastrophe.
This might be the best mission we've ever done.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's like...
They're independent as well, and eager, and wild.
Oh.
Thank you for pointing that out, Don, because, yeah, the rest of you... I don't know if you had any other plans, but you're going to need to try another command roll if you want Board Squadron not to kill these people.
Where did I get shot?
It's level 3 harm, so we're talking I would say stomach or chest.
Alright. Gut shot.
Well, it could be resisted. Right?
Foot, it's just really hard. It's just a big shot.
They just really put their spirit into it, yeah.
They really put their spirit into it, and their spirit went into your foot. It's highly infectious.
Oh, no, I don't want that. God, I mean, I guess I could resist it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have armor?
I do have armor. Would armor get me out of the damage? Like, it's armor. And it's a bullet from a gun. 2. Well, no, because armor. It's just this is a GM Fiat thing. Like, it can be any amount of reduction.
It would. Oh yeah, we've been playing generally. Like, armor would not get you off scot-free. It would get you to like level 2.
No. Anything else?
I
mean, it's body armor. That's the intention of what it does.
True. I actually have here is protect.
Yes.
Which I know is usually your thing.
I mean, I could maybe try and jump in front of this.
I can do it if you want. I don't give a fuck.
I did take my bodyguard ability. I should probably use it.
I think, okay, you know what? It's funnier if I'm gut shot, because...
This is the thing. I like you getting shot. Not in character.
Kind of appropriate in the nicest possible way.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get shot, and I have a thing I want to do, but we will wait until... I guess, unless somebody else has something if somebody else has a pressing thing,
well,
then they should do that.
Yeah, say, what are your plans? And do those plans involve stopping Board Squadron from killing these people?
Yes.
Not particularly.
Let's go with True first, then, because I feel like it's pretty important to find out whether that happens.
Yeah, sure.
True has like a hand on her head. She looks older in this moment than we've seen her on screen before. You know, the bags on her eyes seem deeper. The makeup department has like put on just a little bit of like, you know, a slightly more blue shade or what have you, so she looks just a little bit gaunt. And I think she's gonna kind of call out to Birdie and go, "But Birdie, no, I know you're better than this, please." And I want to roll console.
Okay. I'm trying to decide how mean I want to be, because you have fucking been through it, but that immediately sounds to me like Desperate Limited.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They work for us.
Can I ask some questions about the situation as well? Just in this moment. Like, we were about to shoot the transformed RVs, but they're still kind of holding off, I guess, for a second, right? We haven't even provoked them.
The reason you have this breathing space is because of the temporary ceasefire from Burnout using a spark ability. So they are still, like, where the fuck is that guy? Is that an incoming threat? You do not have long at all until they resume killing you.
They specifically want to kill me, actually.
My other question, I guess, was, so they kind of burst through the ceiling of the underpass, right?
No, well, yes, but from below, yeah.
Yeah, upwards, okay, but it's still a tunnel in both directions onwards from where we are right now.
Correct, yeah.
Okay. I just want to keep going. I just want to get past these things.
Focus on the mission.
Focus on the mission.
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, Desperate Limited, because, like, saying, I know you're better than this is the wrong angle to take when, like, from Board Squadron's perspective, it's like, we're being fired on, it's a matter of protocol.
Yeah.
And that's also reflected in the fact that, yeah, an active, like, gunfire situation is not the time for consort, but it's what True does.
Yeah, I think, you know, it kind of lines up.
Yeah.
She's got the words of, like, soldiers of past wars ringing in her ears. Or earlier in this war, because we live in the Eternal War.
Yeah.
She's going to try it. I have 2 dice in consort, but I am dissociating and tired. So I'm probably on 1 dice 0 effect currently.
Fuck.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yep.
If tired effects, is your tiredness actually making you more compelling because you're so weary?
Oh, that's kind of sweet. That's why she's rolling consort, I think.
Tired brackets of the war.
War weary. Okay, pitch. That the weapon means I can spend quirks. They can be spent normally on any actions or resistances. Pilot or vehicle in which the weapon is used. Can Longreach join in?
Yes.
Hell yeah. Okay. Oddly enough, I'm checking off naive AI.
Aww.
Okay, so in total you've ended up at, like, Desperate Limited. Oh my god, okay.
1 dice, Desperate Limited.
I can give you a help by just, like, growling some orders.
Mm-hmm.
I'd appreciate it.
How many beliefs do you have about True?
I believe just 1.
So you're going to spend it on dice or effect?
I think it has to be effect, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Does it have to be on effect? What would limited do?
Partially disarming a gunfight probably isn't... I don't know.
Probably needs to be standard effect to get this to stop happening.
Yeah, I feel like limited effect is like...
Sure.
Oh, thank fucking God.
Finally! Something! Jesus Christ! What a fucking evening!
Okay.
It's, that's a 5, which I'm counting as a win for the record.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy. What a day. I think it is. It's not just that True calls out to Birdie. She practically falls over him.
Mm-hmm.
She staggers forward. She's still holding this huge rifle, which is looking heavier and heavier in any moment. Longreach is still calling out, which is increasingly sounding like, a kid's voice calling out in the middle of a fucking gunfight.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons it works so well, that, I don't know that Birdie and Longreach communicate all that often, so I think the sheer...
Mm-hmm.
I think that just how weird and confusing and just how, wrong hearing that child's voice in the moment is what makes sure that despite you being kind of quiet and tired, Birdie actually notices and pays attention.
I think True's, free, non-extremely heavy sniper rifle hand just goes up, is Birdie bald, or am I misremembering? She gets him basically at, the base of the skull and just kind of presses his forehead against her own and says, "Look, they're practically civilians, but they don't know what they're doing. Please."
I think the only thing that really makes sense on a 5 is you're just a little bit too late.
Oh boy.
They shoot the guy who shot Julius. He's dead.
Well, he had a good run. I mean, he nearly shot Julius in the foot that time. I think guns go quiet. Maybe True pushes off of Birdie and just tries to stand between both parties, her arms out. I think she mumbles an apology and then drops Longreach and just puts her hands up.
Morn and the rest of the hive are just, looking on in shock. Maybe, a couple of them reach for their pistols but then just immediately just get stared down by Morn and the rest of their team. What are you thinking? That's going to get us killed.
We just did that, Beach.
Yeah,
don't do it
and
again.
I think that this standoff is interrupted by the guttural growl of the 2 0.9s above you as they begin to give up on chasing the threat of burnout and return to you. Ipse, what are you going to do about this?
Yeah, right. So to that, I stand in the middle of Board Squadron and say, we need to move, and basically try and rally us to just march on past the 0.9s quickly, and past the hive, if they're not going to shoot us. We still want to get to the comms array. That's the plan.
Did Ipse just fully do the math and went, well, they want to kill Julius, so anyway.
I mean, to be clear, Ipse was also in that duel. I said there were 2 0.9s, and one went for Ipse and one went for you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, but if Ipse's not here...
I'm mainly wondering why we're, standing next to these giant RVs that have suddenly appeared and not immediately leaving the situation.
You want to try to, hustle past them?
That's the plan, yeah. Form a perimeter around Hector and advance.
I had something I wanted to do that might be helpful to you in doing this and make it so you don't have to roll desperate.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was also going to ask/order True to go help Julius while we do this.
I would like to declare a flashback.
Oh god, okay. What's your flashback?
Okay.
Well, my flashback is, I wonder if this is it can't be the Hive, obviously, and it can't be Jacob's Junkers, because this would be against their interest, but it might just be, a civilian, right? I might just be paying, a civilian aircraft to be flying overhead with my vehicle in it, so that it could be airdropped if there is a moment where it is needed. Okay, and where do you want it to land? Well, they just knocked a big fucking hole in this overpass, so ideally in front of me. Okay, do you want to try to have it land on the transformed? Because that's in front of you. Oh, that sounds fun. Okay, this is in a flashback. I would say spend 1 stress to have arranged this flashback,
and roll a command fortune roll for how well you directed these people and got them on board and how effective your dropping your mech on some guy's plan is.
Can I tick mobility suite?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
In order to make it easier for that to happen.
Like a parachute or something.
Well, mobility suite here is described as a full flight system, dash thrusters, all-terrain suspension, or some other modification providing the vehicle with extra mobility. So this is like, not so much flight, but the ability to steer like a rocket on re-entry.
Right, okay.
Which I think specifically those don't do, but you know what I mean.
Okay, yeah, do a command fortune roll with an extra dice.
Okay. I can't push myself because I will trauma out.
Uh-huh.
Can I tick a quirk? One of my quirks is surprisingly delicate.
That seems like a bad thing if you're then dropping it out of a jet, but duly noted.
I mean, just for steering purposes. I mean, another one of my quirks is unsurprisingly brutal, so...
Sure.
Well, whichever one works.
That seems more appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so what do I get for ticking all of these things?
So I think in total, we're up to a command fortune roll with 2 extra dice.
Oh, okay. Alright, I got some numbers. I got 2 4s and 2 3s.
Alright. A shadow falls above, and the Toru lands and turns midair to just, like, almost do a sort of diving, like, drop kick into one of the V0.9s and slams it into the wall of the underpass with a cracking sound. You've definitely seriously injured one of them. And you've got your RV.
Alright, well, it lifts one hand up, drops me into the cockpit, and as it does, Julius, who's, like, currently holding his guts in, just, like, grunts, go, finish the mission. At, everybody.
Okay, and on that note, Ipse, you're trying to command everyone to just, like, push through this obstacle, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Specifically, escort Hector through the obstacle.
Okay. So I think that's either you roll command or a group prowl action. Your main objective here is try to get Board Squadron to group up and get Hector through safely, right?
Yes.
I'd say command, then.
Okay, can I get my guard purpose, because I'm trying to protect Hector?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Cool. Alright, that will give me a die, and I'm going to push myself for another one, I think. What's my position effect?
You've got a vehicle on the ground. One of the V0.9s is reeling from below. I would say that congratulations, you're at risky standard.
Ooh. Yeah, that seems fine.
I will point something out, and I know what your answer to this is going to be. It would be desperate standard if you were cared about the hive and wanted to get them through. Is that something Ipse would do?
No, they just shot at us, so I don't particularly care about their well-being anymore. So, no. I mean, I would like that XP from Desperate. Is there anything I can do to shift it to Desperate for greater effect?
Oh, you're not tired of losing? You're not tired of level 3 harm?
Aren't you tired of being desperate? Don't you just want to go risky?
I don't know if there is. I don't know what great effect on this would look like.
That's fine. Alright, we'll just roll it as is.
I'll assist and stress out if you help the hive as well.
I'd rather not have someone stress out when we're already dealing with, a lot going on.
A lot. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, okay. 1 and a 3?
Oh my god.
What do you think happens if midway through the podcast a party wipes? Do you think we get paid for the entire thing?
I don't think you do. I think...
Hot damn.
Sorry, I have a question before something terrible happens. Does this count as protecting people?
No.
Oh, this is a good point. Okay, thanks for reminding me about this.
Why do you ask?
Because, if say we get another dice.
So I already got my extra dice. I added that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I have 0. I have 0 in command normally. I got a die from it being a purpose and a die from pushing myself. But actually what I should do is spend my spark, because I can re-roll an action or fortune roll that fulfills my purpose by spending my spark.
Oh my god. Come on, let's go.
Let's do that.
Apologies for the clap there, but I was
This
very
will fix
excited.
everything.
I'm definitely not going to roll a failure again.
For the love of God.
Alright, let's re-roll this roll. Hey!
Oh, thank God.
I got a 6. Whew. Okay, machine precision, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Alright, yeah, so you've done that training in downtime with Board Squadron. I think they immediately call out, and Birdie immediately calls out the name of a formation they get in that sort of tight grouping around Hector, and they sort of pull the rest of the squad in, kind of forcibly, and they line up and offer instruction, like tell Julius and the Toro to start moving. And I think that it's just all moves together quicker than you would imagine. I think that even because Hector might not necessarily be super suited to this sort of delicate movement of a rubble, seemingly without anyone telling them to, 4 of Board Squadron work on lifting Hector over some of the rubble.
Nice. You're saying those spindly legs can't handle it?
Yeah, so you successfully navigate through the version 0.9s. I would say it does occur to you this will work for, they are specifically out to get you. So, how long this will work for? Unclear. Depends on how much of a distraction the Hive end up being.
I'm also hoping that initial transformation was violent enough to make a big hole in the underpass, but, like, chasing us through the underpass might be tricky, or at least force them into a tight space.
Yeah, I mean, it'll take a bit longer, but you were also already relatively near the exit.
Sure.
But yeah, it will help. Also, to be clear, like, more or less once everyone has acted, Hector has been doing his job. I've been ticking decryption, like, once everyone's done a thing. Basically, you're halfway there.
Good.
If you could think of a way to make Hector work faster, you could potentially do that, so you can bail out quickly. So, Burnout, how are you doing there? Sort of snagged by the wrist by Slipway Bolt.
I am snagged by the wrist, and like, I think mentally, Michael's not doing great. I've been thinking about what the most interesting thing, because Michael's never met someone who could even remotely keep up with him before, and he's been completely red. There's this situation happening with True that he's aware of. There's a situation happening with the rest of his squad. I actually kind of think, like, there's a part of me that's like, Michael is like, I'm not going to take this. I'm going to fight back against Slipaway Bolt. I think what the most interesting thing is for him actually to run away.
Oh my god.
Not from the theatre of battle, but leave Slipaway Bolt and go back and help with the situation with the Transformed. I think Slipaway Bolt wins this one.
I think you're forfeiting X for you to get from putting a tick on that clock, right?
I maybe I just need to get some
I would
space.
like us to live.
Maybe I just need
personally.
to get...
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, I think, you know what? I think Michael is giving up the XP. Let's not Corporal JT min-max this. I think it's more interesting for him to just be broken by this and hearing the screams of True and Board Squadron just be like, he'll probably try and justify this as going to help his squad. But the fact of the matter is, inside his heart, he knows he's not in a place to do this race and is going to try and break away and try and help the rest of the squad. Is a role needed for that, or...?
I would say so, because, yeah, Slipaway has kind of grabbed you. I think getting yourself clear such that you can, like, act on other things with, like, relative freedom. Yeah, I think this is a maneuver.
Yeah. I mean, could I turn that maneuver into something that might be able to work against the Transformed if I can get over there as well? Because what I'm thinking is I've got weight saving, and I can declare something as being light, and so I get it as a one use. I'm thinking if I'm manoeuvring away, if I can use my grapnel anchor, I could try and 80-80 one of these things and tackle up the legs.
Yeah, I would say yes, but that means splitting your attention, so it's definitely desperate, if it wasn't already.
I definitely desperate, I think, is the way this is going.
Mm-hmm.
The boosted react at the back is gone, but I still have the quirks of heavy duty. There's a lot of boosters on the back of this. So I'm going to use my quirk of heavy duty boosters, if that's all right.
Yeah, definitely. Uh-huh.
I can use another one if you'd prefer, but
makes sense to me.
So that's an additional one. So that's an additional pip. What's a collateral here?
One potential collateral might be -1 status with the farm state. This is embarrassing. You're wearing their decals.
What's our current status with TFU?
It's currently still +1.
I think that makes sense. That's narratively interesting. Oh,
yeah.
My poor Michael. I think this is how. I think the dice are telling a story here, and so let's lead into it.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any clocks for these? I know one got hit by the ORV falling on it.
The one that's been hit previously is like one solid hit from going down.
Okay, I'd be wanting a standard for that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm currently scraped, which is less effect. So I'm going to use one of my bonuses there to get that up to standard, and I'm going to use the other one to get an additional dice. That seems sensible.
Yep, I'd say so.
That's a 4-3-6-2. That's more like it.
Okay, yeah, describe to me how you send one of the V0.9s crashing to the ground.
Because I used my boosters as the quirk. I think I'd be able to just quickly move some wrists of the wrist blades just to get some separation and then just boost away. Like, I think for whatever small satisfaction this is, Slipaway has a good read on Michael, but probably, well, you can tell me, I guess, probably wasn't expecting this. And so was like thinking I was going to come in for the attacks. Maybe was defending as if because what I was thinking was using the guns that are underneath the jaw. Maybe was protecting and I was dodging as if to dodge that. And had that what I'd done, would have completely dodged it. So, but instead, I'm just out of there. And I imagine Slipaway is laughing to themselves. But then I maneuver away, going very fast, looping around. If I'm going for the legs, it's going to be through the underpass as well, right? It would have to be.
Yeah, true.
And this wouldn't be seen because I guess it's underground, apart from the people that are in there. But I basically go under the underpass and do... Michael's not even thinking about it, but does a really incredibly tight loop around these legs. And then the grapnel falls away, and then he comes out the other side and up as this large creature tries to take a step. Its legs are caught together. It just comes crashing down, like, just poof, on top of the tunnel, I guess, or whatever would make sense. Maybe it falls on some buildings that are nearby. No, because I rolled a 6. There wouldn't be any collateral in that sense. Or maybe some... they could fall on something spiky and damaging, or they could be merely knocked out, I guess.
Yeah, I think that V0.9 just goes crashing down, and I think just like their head just falls plainly on the corner of some rubble, and they are not moving. I will add one thing, which is I think Slipaway Bolt follows you for a little while before just deciding that watching you run is just too funny and just sort of stops, because I want the image of them just like strolling, like arms raised, like shrugging along that big main approach road there. And you hear them say over their comms, "Oh, but I thought you wanted a fight. Which one is it?" They fire a shot into the ankle of the Vector Mantis, take the level 1 damage sprained.
Okay.
Or is it that they point, the 2 coyotes fire 2 more ticks on the antenna destroyed?
Oh, I can resist some of these, right?
Yes.
What are they using to shoot at the antenna destroyed? Is it missiles or...?
They're directing those 2 coyote RVs that they had with them, so it's like these underslung machine guns.
Okay, and there is some stuff around there. If I wanted to try and resist one of those, could I?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I've got an enhanced targeting system. Can I use one of my weapons, maybe like my rack of missiles, to like shoot thinking of the positioning, is there some kind of like vacant tower or some kind of something that wouldn't break the rules of engagement, if we haven't broken them already, I guess, to like bring like a sheet of like flooring or concrete down in the way and protecting some of these shots from hitting?
I think that could work, or more directly, you could just like get like a near shot so the blast throws off their aim.
Yeah, sure, that works for me. Yeah, and that makes more sense. Like kicking up a cloud of dust, right? That'd work.
Yeah.
I'll use my enhanced targeting system, and I'll check off my one use of my rack of missiles.
Perfect. So, underpass team. To be clear, Billiam DeWingle is still broadcasting. You did notice his tone get considerably more frantic when that V0.9 went down right now. And currently what he's saying, because he's been broadcasting on the like unofficial like military line and just been like doing reruns and pre-recorded bulletins on the CalazCon line. But suddenly he jumps back on the CalazCon line and says, "Oh, I have some breaking news for you listeners. Now, you might have heard of the legendary General Julius Thermidor." Now, and
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. We're keeping that.
Okay.
He's saying general, right. I think. Yeah, he gets it wrong. Julius corrects him, but he does not hear. Who real CalazCon fans know was the true inspiration behind the Manticore Wasp arc in Calazar Omega Sphere. And, you'd never have guessed it, he's here, right now. Come to this address if you want to see his true tactical genius in action. So yeah, that's Billiam's way of causing problems for you. This place is about to have a lot more civilians.
Delight. Okay, I'd like to spin around and pin one of these fucking monsters to the wall with my spear. Yeah, so that is my signature weapon or tool. It's a big fucking spear, and I think this just looks like Julius, who is like operating his controls and also holding his guts in, just fucking doing it. This is the thing he does. This is, as far as he can tell, the only thing he is good at anymore. Because it isn't fucking leading people.
Oh buddy.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Risky standard battle.
I'm going to push myself with... I'm going to try surprisingly delicate, because I am trying to use a polearm in an enclosed space, and I need to be real careful about it. I'll take another dice, because, God, it is just miserable out here today. Do I have any relevant harm or damage?
I would say that being shot might impair your piloting skills a little.
Oh, I was talking about the fresh joints. Well, gut shot, all I need for that is just, like, I need to push myself in order to do stuff, but I don't know if that applies for mech scale.
Right, I see. God, yeah, okay, you are in a situation. I think that the gut shot does apply.
I am.
Yes. You, as a pilot, are doing things.
Alright, well, I pushed myself, so it's fine.
I would say the fresh joints applies. So then we're at risky limited.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm taking 2 dice risky standards.
Any help? I guess no one knew you. Well, Burnout is nearby and in a vehicle.
Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, I scooped. I went through the tunnel and 80-80 one of them. Yeah. You want me to assist with some stress?
Yes. That would be very cool.
That's a thing that I can do. I'm getting like long range attacked by some of these. It turns out that maybe getting your rival involved in what is already a somewhat tricksy fight, maybe not the greatest ideas. But I will spend 2 stress to assist you, and I believe that with Julius, I've got 2 beliefs, so you would get 2 bonuses.
Dope.
How would I help, though? There's a thing that's talked about in the core book where they can like burn things with like their boosters, like they can like do runs over it. I think Michael has also modified the end of his boosters in such a way that there's also like a couple of little sprays there of like flammable liquid. So if I can use my weight saving to do like a one-use flamethrower and like just this is an organic target, right? This will help distract it. If I just buzz over the top of it and try and set it on fire.
Yeah, that's fun.
So yeah, looping around and then just to assist that way.
So with that help, you get, I presume, an extra dice and better effect. Does that put us at a risky grey?
I believe it does.
Mm-hmm.
How about nothing terrible happens? Well, that is a critical hit. That's 2 6s. So that's pretty cool.
Is that 5 ticks for extreme effect?
Yeah, I think effectively. Yeah, okay, you tell me how this previously pretty much unharmed, transformed, is taken out of a fight.
I mean, I think I do exactly what I said I was going to do. I turn around and I impale him into the fucking wall. Right? You know, okay, yeah, sure, my joints are fresh. Alright, sure, I'm holding my organs in. Who fucking cares? I've been in this machine for, like, years of my life, right? Like, I don't know how long Julius has been assigned to this particular mech, but, like, he knows this machine, right? And some fucking jumped up little weird monster thing is not actually a problem for him.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, he reaches back, one hand sort of just, oh no, sorry, I don't have two working hands. Never mind, cut that. Right. So I think it's just a spin, right? It's like, from the perspective of this, it's like he gets his bearings, he gets in the cockpit, and it just turns around and gores him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because it's going to be distracted because it's on fire, right? You can get a good, like, proper hit of it.
Yeah. Tell me this doesn't fit with your idea of how the mechanics of a Toro work, but I have the idea that just to make this even cooler, it turns out that you can detach the spearhead and have a spare. So it's not even like you have to remove it from this transform from the wall. You just leave a spear there and have another.
I mean, I think the image of him just, like, impaling this into the fucking wall and then taking the spear out of the wall, right? Just flicking the gore off, moving on.
Yeah, nice.
It's pretty good. IMO, pretty good.
Also very good. Okay, I think it's safe. You're all firmly out of the underpass now with Hector, which means, yeah, I would definitely like to ask what True and Ipse are up to. But first, Slipway Bolt on that runway, takes a running start, skips, kicks off one of the walls of this broadcast building, and kicks the antenna off the ceiling. Unless one of you resists.
Okay, and this is another rival move.
Yep, I've got 2 more.
Yeah, I've got 2 more. It's risk. We're in risky, right? So it would be 2 ticks down to.
I could shoot him.
You could do that.
I would even like to. Can I resist with quirks?
Yeah. You're in a vehicle,
and I'd like to resist with packed with ordnance. Just gonna fire off a couple of rockets before he can get anywhere near it.
They're sure they've got this lined up, and then you just manage to knock them off course a little bit. I imagine that we see the kick coming in, and then there's a blast, and we just see a huge gouge just to the left of where they were aiming. You're good at running, Burnout. I'll give you that. Ipse, what are you doing right now? The main threat right now is Slipway Bolt and the 2 coyotes are very much here. I think maybe you can see that the coyotes are preparing to circle round you in a sort of flanking maneuver. And you're also aware from Billiam Doingall's broadcasts that a bunch of civilians are about to show up.
Right. I think it would be best if there is anything we can do to speed up the decryption process. I think it might be time to redeclare, I'm sure we use the Fine Digital Connector, and try and interface a bit with Hector, and see if there's anything I can do to add my processing power to his.
Yeah.
See if we can speed this process up a bit.
Yeah, I think this is probably risky standard. I think it would be worse because you're doing it under fire and with a prototype, but you have a fine connector, so...
Cool. Okay, nice. And I'll push again for more dice.
Would an assist be useful?
It definitely would.
On my mech, there's a bunch of stuff I could take, coding programs and retrieval programs. Because I also have interface, right? I could give some, general assistance over comms, or I could tick off my one-use intrusion countermeasure program, for example, and kind of hook that into it with the coding and retrieval just to try and get something that works, over a Bluetooth thing, if that makes sense.
I think giving technical advice makes sense in this situation.
Sure. in which case I will do that and tick 2 more bits of stress. I've got 1 with you, Ipse, so that would be 1 additional.
That's a 6. I'll have that.
Finally.
Nice. All right, I'd say that's another tick, which means you're nearly done, and that just leaves a question of leaving. True. How are you doing? How is Longreach doing?
Bad. We're both bad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think both True and Longreach are a little frayed right now. I think while Longreach doesn't have a harm clock, I think some amount of their harm is reflected in True. And things are bad actually.
Longreach, even in this severely sort of unsettled state, does point out the 2 coyotes moving in, and also that since the failed attempt to damage the antenna, you've lost sight of Slipaway Bolt.
Naturally. Right, okay.
So is the antenna on 3? Did that get reduced down to that, or?
Yeah, it would have been reduced to 3, you're right, thank you.
And that was the decryption up to 4, or
up
that
to
was just
3. But it's been moving it forward basically when everyone's acted, so it's about to be done. It's just a question of getting out.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? Because we do still have a rival on the field. We do still have 2 other ARVs.
I think we can start getting ready to dip, to be honest.
I feel like we're probably going to have to dip, right? I am on foot still, which isn't ideal.
I think that the best thing to do to accomplish us getting out is just to ensure that there are less things chasing us. The squishiest target here is probably the 2 guys with Slipaway Bolt.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. I'm just not sure it's something I can do in my current state.
Could you summon the truck?
That's what I'm thinking I'll do. I think my thinking is I'll probably try and set someone up to do evac, which I think is narratively True has pulled herself into a little bit of a bolt hole and has... I don't know if we've narrated what the remote control of the truck looks like.
I don't know if we have. Yeah, what do you think?
It's a dumb beacon. What it is a button on True's belt, which she pushes, and then the mech flies directly towards her with basic pathfinding to avoid crashing into things. She doesn't tend to rely on this terribly often, but it's it's a space truck. Out of ammo, you're not going to crash into stuff, so it can basically just be travel in a straight line and then, park. But I think that's basically what True's doing here. I'd like to roll a setup action, which is essentially True pulling up the truck, opening the passenger compartments, and trying to get Board Squadron on board, along with anyone else who's still on foot.
Okay.
If they want to, obviously,
So, are you thinking a maneuver to get the truck into position? Or...
Yeah, I think a maneuver's probably reasonable. It's something that I'm doing remotely anyway, but yeah, maneuver's probably the most accurate.
Alright, maneuver risky standard.
Do I have any relevant harm or damage? Yes, the truck has been melted.
I forgot that hadn't been fixed. Whoops.
It's fine. Okay, that's a 3. True has an ability called Hook. That means I can spend Spark to change a setup action roll's result to a 6. So I do that.
Oh, nice. What does that look like? What does Hook mean?
Great question.
I think it's called Hook because it's hook, line, and sinker is like the the triplicate of moves.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it looks like in terms of the camera, though. I think it's something was about to screw up and then did not.
Is it advice from Longreach?
Yeah, potentially.
Okay, I have a silly one.
Go on.
Which is essentially just the coyotes are moving slightly faster than True anticipates. And, as the truck is about to land, this coyote is sort of bearing down on her. True kind of swallows and then hits a second button also on her belt, which is used if your truck is about to hit something, which just makes it take a dramatic turn 45 degrees to the left. Which is basically just as the coyote is about to bear down on her, the truck instead pivots wildly, slams into it from the left, and just knocks it over to kind of clear a path, while True is now frantically trying to get anyone on board.
Yeah, that's good. Okay.
I think the ship has sailed with regards to the Hive, but if there are any surviving Hive members nearby, she will offer them passage.
I did have a roll good to go for like how badly the V0.9s got them, but you kind of took them out before they could really begin to attack the Hive in earnest. So I wouldn't say they're doing well, but there's a fair few of them there.
It's true in the cockpit, or like in the open cockpit of the truck. Shares a look with Morn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come if you wanna, but we gotta go.
All right.
She's doing the Millennium Falcon thing, you know. She's turning on the switches, which are only designed to make things go as people are about to get away from things. And I think, you know, she's going to ring out on group comms. All right, we're packed up as much as we're going to be here.
Who wants to coordinate the evacuation? The decryption is done. Hector is good to go.
Hector posts a little emoji which says, "I am good to go," into the group chat. It's like a little chibi version of Hector himself giving a little okay symbol.
Who wants to help get everyone out of here, past the coyotes and the civilians?
I'm still in the area, right? So I think it should probably be me.
All right.
Yeah, Ipsy's still like pilot level.
Pilot level with Hector.
Like, true setting up.
I could. Would that be more or less helpful? I guess Ipsy is probably fine.
Yeah. Okay, so this would by default be risky standard. You can make it a controlled standard or risky great.
Risky great sounds good. I think we just want a clean getaway if we succeed here.
Yeah.
What am I rolling for this? I guess is my question. What's the actual challenge involved?
This sounds like a lot of command, I think.
Command, maybe maneuver? I feel like this is still a functional thing in terms of, like, you're protecting people, right?
Maneuver's a mech one, though, right?
But I would say your purpose definitely applies.
Okay, cool. Well, that's going to need one die. If anyone can help out, I'd appreciate it, but...
Yeah.
I'm still happy to help out and stress out.
I could help. I don't have all of the stress that I could have.
Mm-hmm.
Like me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's maybe just, Julie's directing traffic.
Cool, yep.
Yeah. Providing cover from the coyotes, potentially.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Actually, thinking about it, I've got two stress boxes left. And that would stress me out. I'm just wondering if Michael getting a scar as a result of this mission is narratively interesting.
The entire squad is like, no, I'm Stressticus.
Yeah, if I push her, I can give myself a scar.
Wait, hang on. No, I'm Scarticus.
This has occurred to me. I've got a rival move left.
Oh.
Oh no.
Sure.
Shoot Julius again.
I will die if I roll badly enough, so,
We'll all die if we roll badly enough.
You wouldn't die, would you?
It depends.
No, I mean, like...
On...
Your resist would Your resist always, works, even if you smash, so you would get harm down to what you need. Yeah. Anyway... Yeah, are we going with Ipse rolling command?
I think so.
Yeah, who was doing the assist?
I was doing the assist.
I think it's narratively interesting for True to scar out here in terms of, perhaps the reason why she's pushing herself beyond her usual limits is that she goes back to try and pull in the Hive as well.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Sabriel? You sound slightly disappointed.
No. If that's how the rules work, then I'm fine with that. I can find some other way of doing terrible harm to Julius Thermidor.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you will.
That's my favorite thing to do, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How we're going risky great here. That's a number 6.
Oh, thank heavens. Christ on a bike, what a session.
I would like a pickup, please.
Okay, so wait, and so did we end up with True helping with this?
Yes.
What is that? So is that a scar?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what this looks like.
True has totally forgotten to actually strap Longreach to the mech, so Longreach is in the cockpit of the truck, which is unusual.
Mm-hmm.
They are in they are in pilot level form, but they still occupy a stupid amount of the space. I think it is True, ensuring board squadron. It's literally the helicopter taking off as people are still trying to spill in. It's board squadron hefting in to one of these, it has these 3 cargo containers that float behind the mech itself, tethered to it. and it's True coming in for another pass and, sharing the eye contact with Morn, pulling everyone in.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, physically exerting, something I love about, old kind of construction vehicles and industrial vehicles in general is I felt no power steering. There was a degree of you had to put some heft behind the controls. And I think True is having to do the same, dodging the coyotes. She gets some fire across the nose and just hefts it off into the sky because it is not a graceful vehicle. And then I think just the moment they are out of, combat range, or the moment that our artillery starts going off around us instead of theirs, True basically fully is out like a light. I think she taps the truck into autopilot, which again is find a parking space and pull up, and just goes.
Okay. Right. Do you have a specific scar in mind, or...?
I don't. I think I'm going to think about it and maybe talk about it during downtime.
Yeah, we'll find out. Okay.
What does it look like in terms of Ipse leading folks out?
Yeah, that is a good question.
The plan was just to coordinate and get everyone together, I think. I'm going to say Ipse is one of the last people out. I think I would do that. I'd make sure that Board Squadron gets out safely, that Hector definitely gets out safely. I suppose the Hive, if they want to get out, can. One thing about being artificial is, even if Ipse is feeling kind of stressed about the situation, it doesn't show. I am still calm under pressure, so...
Mike and Julius are still here, though, yeah?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're not backing your RVs, so...
Oh, you think? I presume that part of this role was getting a good route for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, we can roll it in if it makes sense. Right?
I mean, we're engaged in
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to
still
argue
fighting?
us into a worse position, but we're engaged in combat. Slipaway Bolt is still happening to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although you haven't seen them in a while.
We might have to provide some kind of, the RVs providing, some kind of covering fire as
Right.
these ones are getting away, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm up for that. Yeah. Okay. So as always, it's Michael and Julius fighting side by side. Do you have a plan for how to make a sort of fighting retreat?
If we could try and lure some of these coyotes into this underpass and then collapse it on top of them and then get out.
Oh, I got rockets and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's what your gear list says.
I
got rockets and shit,
it does,
and
it
the description
specifically
is,
does.
so
Well, I have a directed energy weapon and a rack of missiles or rockets. So,
Okay.
Wow.
yeah.
Is this, broadly speaking, a battle that's just, flavoured as this kind of ambush-type situation?
I think that this sort of tactical skill is this tactical gambit is definitely a battle. Yeah.
So is this me shooting stuff and Mike helping me, or me helping Mike by shooting the roof off? Or is Mike rolling a setup action so that I can then do that?
Before you do, I might want to, helpfully drop in with something.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, just one more thing.
Yeah, I've got something. So I said you weren't sure where Slipaway Bolt was. You learn where they were pretty quickly when you look up and you remember, oh, that's right, the hope of CalazCon can fold. Its arms are and limbs are wide enough to be wings, and it can fold them back into a sort of fighter jet configuration. Slipaway Bolt snuck behind the vacant towers because they were high enough that you wouldn't notice them ascending. And now they are descending towards you very quickly and firing on you as they do. This does two things. First, Michael, take the level 1 damage Hamstrung, which becomes level 2, full up on level 1. And second, the overall overbearing pressure of suddenly those coyotes you're distracting have airborne fire support. This last roll is in a desperate position. Unless you want to resist either of those.
And who is on that to resist? Can either of us do it, or is it just Michael?
I can't do
I guess Michael can only resist
without taking either a scar or a point of breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Are we broadly okay with it being a desperate roll? I guess we've not got much
I'm
of it.
always okay with it being a desperate roll.
So the question is whether or not I want to take the damage. I will do the same thing I did before by junking one of my pieces of thing to stop that from happening. Basically, I've got a melee weapon or two, which are the big blades on the front of the mech. So I think the shots are coming down and it's too late to move, but the Vector Manta is able to bring these big blades up in front and basically stop the shots from hitting anything vital, but in turn, the blades themselves are ruined.
Okay, nice.
If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I will junk my intimidating blades to prevent that.
Okay. Is it also Michael making the battle roll to extract?
Well, is it a battle roll to extract? Is it a setup action? Just because I'm not sure, what I'm doing in all this.
I mean, I would be quite happy to assist you and me stress out as part of, this whole scenario. Me helping you is 2 dots, and I think that's probably going to be the most sensible way to handle that, if that makes sense.
I will also stress out in that situation. That's fine with me.
Oh, you would like to stress out?
Oh, no, it will, we probably both will. If you're helping me, if you're doing a setup action, and then I'm doing something else, then it's just me stressing out. But if I'm helping you, it's just me. But if you're helping me, it's both of us.
Do we both want to stress out?
How does that work fictionally? Do we get away?
I think you do, yeah. It's
you
just
disappear from the scene, right? That doesn't
What
mean
if we both stress out, but we didn't succeed on the roll?
Yeah, you're right, actually. That's potentially a problem. Normally I wouldn't be so worried about that, but I kind of am. Okay.
That is the opposite of a problem.
Is it?
I think, sure, it would be bad, but I don't think it puts us in a, game-breakingly fucked situation.
Okay. Sorry, GM, how do you want to, to legislate our plan, which is, we are going to collapse the tunnel here, right? How do we want to do that?
I'm happy for that to be a battle roll with help. Or if you would prefer a setup action for some reason, I'm also happy with that.
I think going with the help is probably more efficient, because then that's an extra dice and another thing.
Yeah.
And just being back-to-back fighting inside this collapsing thing, potentially both stressing out at the end. It's mission 3. Maybe it's time for Michael and Julius to have that. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I think we should play the scene out, as we do this.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
So, Julius is standing in the tunnel, with, a bunch of dead beasts, and just sort of waiting for the next thing, right? Does, Mike come through the ceiling?
Mike's just been shot at from above. We have all these, I'm assuming, bullets coming down that have been deflected. Is the Hope of Calazar still coming down, or does that swoop off in a different direction?
It's still bearing down. That's why you're in a desperate position.
Okay, so I get, and also the coyotes are approaching. So I guess ultimately the help that Michael wants to do is these blades are wrecked. He can't deflect using those anymore. But what he does somehow want to do, and I think he's probably got something he can use to kick this off, but basically redirect the Hope of Calazar back towards the front of the tunnel where the coyotes are, which can then, kicking with his bird feet, pushing it that way, or maybe even grabbing the bird feet, boosting round, dropping it off, boosting back, and then the tunnel roof can get collapsed on top of the coyotes and the Hope of Calazar at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's better if you roll it, though, than if I do. I'm helping and you're doing the roll.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely okay. Yeah, sure. And this would be me rolling a battle against Slipaway Bolt. Oh, I might get that XP after all. Okay, let's see how that goes. Cool. In which case, yeah, it's going to be a battle, and it's going to be basically attempting to redirect them towards where the coyotes are, so that they can all be done in one kind of overall collapsing ambush trap. I'm getting an assist from Julius, who is pushing themselves and helping at the same time, which I guess is 4 stress at the same time.
It's 1 quirk and 2 stress, so I'm taking a point of breakdown.
1 quirk and 2 stress. Okay, and you've given me 2...
Yeah, 2 benefits.
Bits. 2 benefits. What's the collateral you can offer me?
I would love to offer you another level 1 damage as collateral.
Another point of breakdown.
Because I could also, if I push myself with a quirk, I will also break down. I think I need to be... I think I need to not be broken down in order to get you away, so I won't do that just yet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see you caught in the crossfire a little bit. Let's go with crushed.
I think I'm gonna have to take that, aren't I? Oh, this is gonna be rough, but I think I've got to take that collateral in order to make this happen. So, okay, there was double less effect from the sprained and scraped. So, what am I looking at to start at?
If we were starting out at Desperate Standard, it sounds like we're looking at Desperate 0 and -1. No, the crushed hasn't happened yet. Yeah. Desperate 0.
Desperate 0. We only really need to hold them up for a little bit of time, so I think limited is probably going to have to do, right? And so, yeah, one on limited and then 1 on the battle, so that's 3 dice we're looking for. Does that sound good to you, Julius?
Oh, yeah. No, you do whatever you need to do. I'm already fucked.
Number of dice 3.
Yeah. Go for it.
116. Really glad I know it took a little while for us to get there on the dice, but that last one was very important.
This session, I swear.
Okay, I want to.
We need to reseed Roll20 or something.
I want to play this out, right?
Yeah,
if that's okay with
definitely.
everyone. Like, I don't want to just like decide like what happens. So, what's Mike doing to start with?
Mike is. I think the general plan is this, the Hope of Calazar is diving towards it. I'm assuming it's going to try some kind of, like, melee attack, like a dive bomb. And, like, Mike's panicking, and Mike's thinking about what he would normally do in this kind of circumstance. And what he would normally do is dodge out of the way and counterfire, but he knows he's been read, right? So he's just looking up. We see the thing, and he's not moving. He's not moving. And at the last second, he steps back slightly and activates his boosters, not to run away, but in a very similar way. And maybe the camera would cut it in a similar way to the True pressing the button on her belt to go in at 45 degrees and ram the thing. The Vector Mantis comes in at 45 degrees and rams into the Hope of Calazar, knocking it down and towards the coyotes, down towards the end of the tunnel, as if it was coming down through one of the holes in the top, right? And then it's been knocked back towards it. Mike then kicks off and starts boosting back towards Julius. Now! Do it now!
Yeah, I think you realize that before you've even said that, Julius has already fired the rockets, and he fired them at where Mike was before he did that final maneuver, because turns out, Mike is actually possible to read, right? And he knew you were going to do that.
Yes. Slipaway didn't, which is an interesting thing. Someone who knows him better.
And we get, like 5 or 6 rockets just like impacting the top of the thing. It's rumbling. And then Julius like slaps on the side of the bull with the giant laser in it. And we get this like, laser spinning up noise and then loud laser sounds as it collapses the last support that the tunnel had. At
which point beeps start going off because presumably you overheat, which is what the breakdown is?
Yeah, no, I've used just about everything. Is our last shot here, like, Mike and Julius, like, standing next to each other in their vehicles, as the tunnel comes down around them?
Yeah.
I think we have a little chat.
As these things are falling down around us. Yeah.
Michael, I haven't seen you around.
Yeah, well, I got a little bit distracted. I did zoom through and take out one of those, Exo-9s. I make that one apiece. Unless you thought you could get ahead of me.
Well, this is just about the only thing I know how to do anymore, Michael, so... Yes, I thought I could.
Well, I thought I could do one thing, but I've got to be honest with you. I'm starting to reconsider that. Further rocks just crashing down around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't say it was a good day.
Oh no, this was a fucking catastrophe.
Yeah, it was. But if this is it, I don't mind it being with you.
You know what, Julius? I never thought I'd say this, but it's been an honor fighting beside you.
I think we get a shot of Julius' face in, like, total shock and disbelief. I don't think he says anything.
As we're looking up all these things crawling down around, we do get to look up and see just, like, there is a gap, just a momentary clearing, and the Vector Mantis does have the ability with his weight saving to, like, declare cargo space. And I think I've been thinking, how would that represent, like, a one-shot cargo space? And I think it's just grabbing things in the claws of the Vector Mantis. And we don't get to see what happens, but there is a potential route for flying out of here holding something very heavy if it's handled correctly. And I think we just get Michael saying, "But I'm afraid, Julius, I don't think you get to die here today."
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited and sound balanced by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at cvblight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.